Hello, good evening, and welcome to round number 3 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race 2021. I'm Peter Butcher, and you're watching simbroadcasts.tv. No Owen this week, and instead I'm joined in the commentary box by Thilo Falkenberg. Hi, Thilo.
Hi, Pete. Swapping a German in for a Irishman, so a little bit of a different dialect here in the booth.
Definitely good to have you back in the commentary box for the regular Tuesday series that we're streaming here on Sim Broadcast. So yeah, good to have you back. Today we're at West Hill International in the FZ5 Thilo, which is a bit of a tricky combo for the drivers, and especially on their tyres. Do you want to talk us tell us a little bit about the car today?
So we're driving the FZ5 here today, which is, a sports car in the philosophy of Ferrari or Porsche cars. Rear engine, flat six, with quite some horsepower.
Yeah, 360 horsepower to be exact. And today they're going to be throwing that car around West Hill International, which is 5.8 kilometres, 3.6 miles. Qualifying is underway at the moment, and we'll be going to the track in just a couple of moments' time. At which point they're going to be doing a 15-minute race, not the 38 laps that's shown on your screen at the moment. But yeah, a 15-lap race today, which is going to be fun for the drivers. I think even in that short length of race, Thilo, the tyres are really going to come into play.
Definitely they will. If you think back to the Layouts Racing League finale that we have covered last autumn, the race distance was similarly, and it was really the race about how well you're going to cope with the tire temperatures over the distance. Back then it was about 40 minutes. Today, I believe we're going to see about 35 minutes of racing, so it's going to be very interesting.
It certainly is. Let's turn our attention to how things stand in the Drivers' Championship. After 2 rounds, we have Botzi still leading the way with his teammate Rick Cardle in P2. Lagutskas in P3 there with Mandula for Race Green, the highest placed Race Green driver in P4. Unite, Trespasser, Falcon, Spikey, Yoni Katilla and Young Tommy B round out the top 10 after 2 races. And then looking across at the Teams Championship, it's a similar picture at the front, of course. We have Team Sidus there leading with 84 points ahead of Race Green Autosports in P2. Born to Race, World Class Lions, Sim Broadcasts, Master Race Car and Fragmaster round out the 7 teams that are currently entered into the series. And these will be the main 7 teams, Thilo, that we believe that will be fighting it out through the duration of the year in this championship, unless any other teams are entered after the January lockout, because of course any points that are accrued after now, if you want to enter your team, you are starting from 0. So,
yes, indeed, and it's a very interesting factoid that we Sim Broadcasts are also sending a team into this championship. So a little bit of bias here today. It looks like Elmo is the only representative. But throughout the season, we may see the one or the other surprise in our roster.
Yeah, maybe. We'll get the show on the road, Thilo. We are on the track. We have a few minutes left to qualifying. In fact, 3 minutes left. So yeah, Genuine Racing's Unite currently setting the pace, blistering pace actually, ahead of the 2 Sidus cars, which is a bit of a change, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It was a stunning lap Unite could get on the tally just moments ago with a new personal best around this track. He is currently on a provisional pole position, but closely followed by our 2 top contenders for the championship as of now, with 2 and 3 also 1 and 2 in the championship.
Yeah, Pauli Peltikangas, Botzi in P2 at the moment, with Rick Cardle, his teammate, just behind in P3. And yeah, some 26 drivers who have set times in the server so far. With 2 minutes to go, I'm sure some of the drivers will be going out there for one last ditch attempt to try.
Yeah, Botsi, for example, is on a hot lap. His teammate Ricardo currently still on the out lap. Botsi now good chunk into sector 2, but he has to lift because in front of him there is a big traffic queue.
Yeah, he'll be lining up for one last attempt surely at this point, unless he's just doing some weird practice. But yeah, I'm guessing he's going for one last attempt.
For Ricardo, there is a clean open track in front of him, so he's now starting his final attempt of setting a fast lap in this qualifying session. Can take a look at the track now. Early braking for this right-hander in these cars. That is really a corner for the downforce cars. Usually, well, depending on how well your setup goes, these corners can be taken flat or at least with a small lift of the gas pedal. And now to one of the most tricky corners around here, because this is really deceiving. It opens up to the end, but there is not enough room for you on the track to really just go for it, and not in the downforce cars and neither in this car, as we have a Ricardo split of under the world record split.
Really? Wow.
He is 4/100th under the world record as of now.
Well, he's really going for it. He's gone through the chicane and he's onto the back straight now. Yeah, he's some way off his teammate on pace on the leaderboard at the moment. But if he continues setting that sort of time, then there should be a good lap from Ricardo. He's only got Unite ahead of him, who you can't imagine is going to hold him up on this attempt, as we have 10 seconds to go in the session. So anybody who's just rounding the last corner may get an extra lap in.
Yeah, Unite in front of him is most likely already on his race setup, because he is a second off Ricardo at the last split. Last split was 3/10 over the world record, so still a very, very strong split time.
Yeah, final corner for the Dutchman. And he's
bottled it.
Yeah, he aborted. That's a shame. Let's see if, well, Unite's not on a lap, but let's see if Botsi can improve. Botsi, is he out on track? I don't think he is. I think he must have aborted as well. So it does look like we are just waiting for the last few cars to come across the line.
Yannick Atias. No, he's also on his race set from the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like Unite has done everything he needs to right now. We'll be able to confirm it either way in a few moments' time.
Yeah, but looking at Yanni's time, the time he's currently have on the leaderboard is pretty far off the pace of the front runners, so his lap is going to be a big improvement. Coming around the final corner, Yoni Katia for World Class Lions.
Yeah, let's see what he can manage. He's coming up to the line now. It's a big improvement, but he's just behind his father in P9.
Yeah, just behind, 2/100th of a second, so they are in close proximity of each other.
Just got a couple of cars around in the last corner. I think these are the last cars on a timed lap, so after that we'll be able to confirm the order. As Kid slops up to P10 there. That's a good effort. Just ahead of Ayub. So, Genuine Ratings Unite has put it on pole ahead of the two Sidus cars, Botsi and Rick Cardle. Botsi will line up alongside Nico on the front row. Then Rick will be joined by Mandula on the second row. 3 race green cars together there. Falcon and Rony will share row 3. Michael Malek for Master Race Car will be in P7 with the world-class Lions father-son duo of Jari and Rony in P8 and P9, and Sim Broadcast's Kid rounds out the top 10. Born to Race Ayub in P11, Yaroslav Donelik in P12, then Iron Donny in P13, always likes to be qualifying around Yarda it seems. Those two have been inseparable the last two races. Asker for World Class Lions in P14, Redbot and Twincam on row number 8, then it's Timu Soini, Tazka, Talha and Number rounding out the top 20. P21 it's Kig, then it's Elmo, Beirut, Climbs, Tim Dicknodder and Magic. And that will be our 26-car grid for this 15-lap race around West Hill International Thilo Falkenberg.
Indeed. Going to be interesting to see. There are now a couple of cars on track practicing a little bit with the race setup, I guess. We do have about 7 minutes until we start into this race, and I think it's going to be a cracker. These cars are incredible to watch racing, and with the top 3, the top 4 within half a second, that's really a promising sign for this race.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult car to drive. And speaking of cracking races, we have to tell you about what's coming up this weekend. This weekend on Sim Broadcast, we are going to be showing you round number 3 of New Dimension Racing's GT2 Challenge. That'll be from South City Long from 6 o'clock on Sunday. And here's the trailer. New Dimension Racing's GT2 Challenge on your screens again this Sunday, 7th of February from 6 o'clock UTC from South City Long. That's going to be an amazing race, Thilo. I don't know if you've caught any of the GT2 Challenge this year, but yeah, it's been an awesome first couple of rounds, and a lot of people are looking forward to round number 3. Back to tonight's action though, as Thilo mentioned, we do have a little bit of a wait before the start. So let's recap those driver and championship standings for you. Leading the way in the Drivers' Championship, as you know, it's Botsi. It's Sidus's Botsi and his teammate Rick Cardle in P2. Vitautas Lagutskas in P3, followed by Mandula for Race Green. Genuine Racing's Unite, who got pole position in this qualifying session. He's in P5 at the moment, 32 points off the lead. Then it's Trespasser in P6, Falcon in P7, Spikey for Born to Race in P8, Yoni Katilla, who hasn't managed to get it anywhere near the front in this race, but yeah, he's starting down the order. He's currently P9 in the standings. Young Tommy B in P10, Iron Donny P11, Ayub El Hanouni in P12, and the rest of the top 24 drivers in the Drivers' Championship are listed there on your screen. It's going to be a pretty close year, I think, between the two Sidus teammates. If you tuned into last week's XL coverage, you know that Botsi wasn't there, so Rick Cardle's already got a leap on Botsi in that particular series, but Botsi seems to be well in charge on paper at the moment in the regular RTFR season. It is a long year. There are more than 20 rounds, so plenty of time for everyone else to wake up and try and challenge Botsi, because he's been on commanding form for the last few years in this series, Thilo.
Yes, I mean, he was in the top 3 the last 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, winning it last year and being second the year before. But yeah, it's a long year. You don't know when he might miss a race. Ricardo was not around for the South City race with the UFR, so he's already one race behind, so to speak.
Yeah, and coming into round 3, he'll wanna get a good result here. He's got the pace.
definitely. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out throughout the year. I mean, we have just entered into February.
Yeah, exactly. A long year. We always talk about that. We've covered year-long series before, and here goes for our second one. In the Teams Championship, as we mentioned at the top of the show, it's Sidus at the top, 84 points with 22 points clear of Race Green Autosports Born to Race in P3. World Class Lines, the sponsor of both RTFR and RTFR XL, in P4, Sim Broadcasts in P5, Master Race Car P6, and Fragmaster with one solitary point at the back in P7. We do expect this team list to grow, don't we, Thilo? We do expect to see more teams entering throughout the year.
Definitely. The thing is that this year's edition features a prize pool for the Teams Championship, and there are certain requirements how a team has to look like and what is allowed to be signed up, etc. So, for example, it needs to be an official Live for Speed team listed on the LFS World page, which might have prevented a couple of entries, I guess. Something like Yes Motorsports, which was more an unofficial conglomeration of drivers who wanted to team up for the TRR Championship 2020.
Yeah, it's kind of meant to be aimed at the more established teams. There's nothing to say that drivers can't form a conglomerate and register it as an official team on LFS World, but there we go. We hope to see this list increasing in length over the year. But anyway, Thilo,
so 1 minute to go.
Yeah, 1 minute till the start. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's kind of a Marmite car, isn't it, the FZ5? Some drivers love it. They love the challenge. And some drivers absolutely hate it because it's just a tyre management exercise most of the time.
Yeah, but I feel that's also what makes this car really interesting to drive. If you are leaning into it and if you are putting in the practice that car really needs, it's a bit like the BF1 equivalent of the road cars. The BF1 also very practice intensive, very different to drive compared to the other downforce cars.
I suppose you get out of it what you put in, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, yes, that's what I wanted to say.
All right, well, we've had our fair share of tricky races over the last few weeks, especially in RTFR and RTFR XL, but tonight is going to be something a little bit different, I think. Plenty of drama, plenty of thrills and spills, and a decent-sized
Race
grid.
starts.
Here we go.
So on pole position, we see Unite, who is his fourth RTFR pole position. Let's see if he can convert it into a race for the podium, for the win. We're waiting for the lights to go on. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights. And we're green for the West Hill round of RTFR. RTFR 247.
Yeah, staggering number. And look at that, as all the F75s head up towards turn number 1. Nico's got a big jump over the 2 Sidus cars, and in the background there's lots of sorting out going on. The 3 race green cars have stayed together. We've got a car off there. I think that was Michael Malik. Yes, it was. It's a very colourful field, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. And speaking of the race green cars, you are not going to see who's in race green and who is not, because they are again on 3 different skins.
Yeah, one of which is red and yellow. Thanks, Mandula. Yannick Tilla's made a great start. He's just got past Rony, the man himself. He's up to P6 and already under pressure from Kid. Kid has had a good start as well.
Yanni now in the sandwich of the race green cars of Rony and Falcon.
Yanni and Rony.
Oh, Kid with a late dive. It's difficult to really get this car down to the cornering speeds you want to go through the corner.
Yeah, it's 2 tons of car. It's pretty heavy, so getting it to slow down properly is tricky. As we have honking going up ahead, and Yoni's already trying to get to the front of this field, but we've got almost a 3 wide, and Rony's going back on Kid up the inside. And who's that in the 911 skin? That would be
911. That's Ayub.
And Rony's gone off onto the grass under the tunnel. It's going to be 15 laps of this, though. They're going to be trying to get their tyres up to temperature on the first lap, and then trying to cool them down for the rest of the race. As Kid goes on the grass again, and he'll probably have to defend from Ayub at the end of the straight. Ayub thinking about lining one up in the slipstream, but decides not to go for it on this occasion.
Oh, but behind, look at Jaroslav Denalik squeezing himself to the outside of Michael Malek.
Yeah, the 3 Czech drivers at the front of this field together again. They came in for an interview with us after round 1 and mentioned that this was going to be kind of the in-joke all year, that all 3 of these guys, Kid, Michael Malek and Yada, all want to win against their countrymen.
Oh, contact, and now Yada with 2 wheels on the grass. Michael, lifting to let him go, and
now under pressure
now
from
under
Yari.
Pressure.
Meanwhile, out front, Unite has not only taken the fastest lap, but he's opened up a 1.3 second gap over Rick Cardle. Rick Cardle's managed to get past Botsy, and Botsy looking like he might be under pressure from Mandula. So not only is he not at the lead of the race, he's currently under threat of losing out on a podium, is Botsy.
Yeah, Mandula, who is in this Layout Racing League skin. A little bit of false advertisement. The side of the car says Stuart Baker. He's definitely not driving this one.
It's the Layout Racing League safety car skin that he's driving in a race screen event. No skin rules here, so you can use what you like. But look at this battle going on behind Jari Katila right now. We've got Twin Cam, who's in the slipstream of Jari, and that's Redbot, that's Donny, who's trying to pull alongside as well.
Oh, but look, the Born to Race car to the inside of Jari Katila.
He's made it stick.
A little bit of rubbing.
Oh, rubbing's racing, Thilo, especially in these huge cars. A little bit of door-to-door contact won't affect them at all. They're built like tanks, the FZ5s.
And now pulling on the straight, Tusker is now in the slipstream of Redbot, and he's pulling out of it, braking into the final corner.
Side by side on entry, Redbot will have the advantage down the home straight because he'll be in the slipstream, but he's also having to defend from Asker. Asker's already pulled up alongside him, and they'll be side by side across the start finish.
Elmo's in the prime position to look at this battle.
Yeah, he is indeed.
Ooh, side by side into turn 1. It's a little bit safer here, I would say, with these cars, since you really have a braking zone for turn 1.
Well, almost gone for the move on the inside of Asker, and there's contact.
Ooh.
Actually, quite heavy contact there. Battles all the way down the field as we expect in the FZ5. You make one mistake and it takes a long time to get this car back under control and back into the race, really. It's such a heavy car. But yeah, the gap to the lead steadily increasing. It's almost 2 seconds now between Nika Pantola and Rick Cardle, and Botsy some 3.5 seconds off the lead. Mandula dropping back now, you have to say, a little bit from Botsy, but still there, still very much in contention. His teammates some way behind.
Yeah, Michael was off track. He's now, he lost contact to the group in front.
Yeah, Kid's had to go defensive on Ayub, and there's contact front to rear with Kid and Ayub. Kid driving for Sim Broadcasts, but I'm not sure what that livery is. It's quite nice, whatever it is. He's currently defending very hard from Ayub, and Ayub's gone a bit sideways there and will be under pressure from Yaroslav Donnelly up the small back straight before the final corner. Side by side almost.
Yeah, they are side by side. Ooh, but late braking by Ayub, who makes it work. Well, one thing that is crucial that we've seen in the LRL finale a few months back, you can really work the brakes, but you are always sacrificing tire life.
Rony side by side with Kid into turn 1. Sorry to interrupt you there, Thilo, but yeah, Rony's been forced a little bit wide. He's going to lose out to Ayub as well here, or he's going to be side by side into turn 2 by the looks of it. Yeah, he's having to defend on both of these corners, and he's got the place back on the entry to turn 2. That's good. That's good driving. But yeah, Kid now up to P7.
Ayub to the inside of Rony. Into that deceiving turn 3. But he actually was quite clever to go side by side on the exit of the corner. Now he's got the outside to work here.
He got some oversteer, and that's going to leave him vulnerable from Yaroslav. He could lose 3 places in as many corners. Yaroslav's got himself well positioned. He went slightly early on the brakes, and Rony's gone on the grass. Oh yeah, and once you're on the grass, you're an absolute passenger. There's no way to get that car under control quickly. So Rony could lose quite a lot of positions here as everyone streams past. There goes Michael Malek. And he's going to be in a fight with this Jari Katila-Doni battle that's going on. Rony up to speed now. But yeah, he's lost a load of positions there just by dropping a wheel on the entry to the chicane.
At least he got up to speed rather quickly again, so he doesn't lose even more positions. But 6 places down he is now.
Yeah, and there's a huge gaggle of cars behind him as well, I just wanted to point out. So many battles up and down the field.
Oh, Rony! Ooh, under that bridge, nearly into the outside retaining wall.
Really intense battling. This is the sort of racing you expect to see with the slower cars in Need for Speed, right? Not the fastest road car in the simulator. So this is really interesting. I don't remember the last time I witnessed such a close fight between so many cars in the SF5. Probably have to think back to City Liga days, Thilo.
Oh, definitely. City Liga always with the slight advantage that due to the sign-up regulations and things like that, people were prepared in the races, especially on Grid 1.
Yeah.
Oh, but look at Tasca, he's starting to get problems, and I now look at the tire map. His rear is starting to get red.
Yeah, and that's we're only just we're not even a third of the way through this race, and he's already having to give up a place to Donny at this point. Donny down the inside. Down the inside for turn 3, and it looks like he's made the move, and yeah. Tasca's tyres are going to be going through the roof now as Rony's having to defend from Jari Katila. Jari Katila on the attack into turn 4, side by side. Still side by side on the exit. These guys are having a good scrap.
Jari also suffers with temperature problems for the right rear tyre, so he cannot thread the needle like we've seen other guys doing a couple of laps ago. And Rony, due to his offs, also suffers from heat problems, so that's what dictates the racing there, as Jari gets a tap on the back by Donny. Ooh, and a big slide. And Tasca to the inside of Donny, back into P15.
Yeah, he doesn't care about his tyres. He just wants to go for it, doesn't he? I mean, he's going to come unstuck at some point in the next couple of laps with the car looking like that. But right now, he fancies getting involved, and it doesn't seem to be phased at all. And he might even be mounting a charge on Jari Katila if he can get this car slowed down into the hairpin.
Oh, Jari quite loose on the entry to the corner.
Yeah, and Donny under pressure already because his tyres just aren't there. Tazka's are not that great either. Oh, and Tazka gets very sideways and spooks Donny actually into the braking zone, and has actually gone ahead.
Looking a few places up, Michael and Twincam are side by side through turn 2 and now into turn 3. And Michael can defend his position.
There's a fight going on up
his
ahead
fellow
of it as well.
countryman is side by side with another fellow countryman.
Yes, Kid
so
and
battles
Yaroslav.
Everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere, except at the front, where it's very much Nika Pantola ahead of Rick and Botsy, and Mandula has dropped back somewhere as well. So it really is, it's stringing out at the front, but in the mid-pack, absolutely the opposite story. They've kind of paired up at this point. The only person who hasn't paired up is... well, here we go. Kid and Yarda side by side, two Czech drivers. Currently at the top of this field, heading down into this really tricky Sector 3 complex. Not that easy in any car, let alone a 2-ton rear-wheel drive FZ5. And Yarda stays ahead there. Lots of slide on the exit, runs 2 wheels on the grass, they both do. So that's going to be neutralised for a little bit. Similar story behind. Michael has a gap over Ayub and will really want to catch up to Kid and Yarda ahead.
Maybe something interesting from the top 2. Ricardo currently the fastest car on the track, so he's cutting the gap to Unite slightly shorter. He also has the better tires, so let's see how the second half of this race turns out to be.
Yeah, even though Unite's got the fastest lap of the race, Unite's pace is definitely dropping off slightly. Maybe just had a slightly rocky last lap, as he's actually opened up the gap already on this lap. Nearly 3 seconds.
Yes, indeed. So may have just missed the turn-in point or something in the final corner, and happens quite quickly, as we've seen with Rony just a couple of laps ago. One small mistake can lead to some disastrous loss in speed and time.
Yeah, speaking of disastrous loss of speed and time, what Botsy just did into the chicane won't have done him any favours. He was sideways and had to kind of recover it. And yeah, Mandula is looking like a real threat, actually. And speaking of threats, look at Falcon and Yoni.
Indeed, I just wanted to add that with the slide, Botsy lost about 6/10.
Okay, yeah, so that really did not help him. Watch out for Mandula in this race. Currently riding on board with Yoni Katilla as he's chasing down Race Green's Falcon. These guys were all fighting it out last night in the all-wheel drive series that Race Green put on, and I know that Race Green had a brilliant result in that race, but yeah, Falcon coming a bit unstuck in the FZ5 at the moment as Yoni Katilla is all over the back of him.
Yes, yesterday's race was also somewhat a tire-saving race with the RB4 in the Rockingham Oval. Now Katia using the slipstream to go side by side with Falcon.
And he's through. Good clean racing. I wonder if Falcon
he also
will try
has the better tires.
Yeah, I don't think Falcon has a response to that.
We sadly lost world-class Lions Aska.
Yeah, and Michael's lost out to Ayub somewhere, Thilo. Quite a lot, in fact. Michael was ahead of Ayub and is now behind by some, 9/10 of a second, in fact.
Yeah. Oh, Kid with a brilliant run out of turn 4. Coming now down to the chicane and peeking into the inside of Jaroslav Donalik. Just looking.
Yeah, Jaroslav's really trying hard to stay ahead of Kid, and he's putting a lot of energy through the rear tyres to do it. So you've got to think that Kid's doing everything he needs to do to pile on as much pressure as he can to try and make Yada fall off the road. And if Yada keeps burning his rears like that, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's great. These two are scrapping, and that's just letting Ayub ahead just run away with it. My mistake. Michael was battling with Twin Cam just before, not Ayub, as Twin Cam drives off the track. In fact, rejoins in front of Michael, and Michael's back through with Rony looking to... Go on.
Rony is already back on the back.
Yep.
He was miles off. Don't forget, he was at the front of the large secondary group after rejoining the track.
Yeah, no, that's
now
true. He has
to
made up
get...
a lot of places. He's pretty quick in the FZ5 in general, is Rony. But yeah, that mistake definitely cost him.
Oh, Jarek Katia side by side with Donny through the final corner. Rather peculiar line. He lost out to Donny, yes.
Yeah, Mandula is within a second of Botsy now. The gap has been like that pretty much the whole race, near enough. And now it's... Yoni Katila needs... Well, he's going to try and catch these guys in the last 6 laps.
Yes, but we just missed that Kid got around Jaroslav Donalik.
Finally.
Into turn 1, round the outside with the better tyres.
Okay, so finally Kid makes the move. Now all he needs to do is keep it, and that's really going to be difficult. He's been following Yada the whole race. Now he's leading Yada around. Sometimes you can get target fixation while following, and as soon as you're ahead, it's a different ball game. So Kid needs to focus and try and stay ahead of Yada. Michael has made it back round Twin Cam. We saw that error for Twin Cam into the final sector of the last lap. But these three still really close. Rony there putting a bit of energy through the rear tyres. Not the best exit. Michael feeling as though he needs to go defensive on the Born to Race car. Yeah, it looks like he does as he heads down into the braking zone. Twin Cam sends it to the inside. Michael leaves him the space, but the better line by Michael on the outside there means he can just hold his line. Great 3-car battle this.
Yes, and Rony now with the better line through the chicane in his RTFR skin. Slipstreaming Twin Cam, who is half-heartedly opening the outside.
Great move.
Ooh.
Yeah, not quite able to make it around the outside. Looked like it might be on. He'll have a good run onto the home straight. They all run onto the grass. Oh no, Ronnie's lost a load of time there. And that battle will have to happen another day.
Oh, Botsy just chatted that he has not enough fuel left in his tank.
That is a terrible, terrible oversight. It's very easy in a fixed length race to work out how much fuel you need. And there's no real excuse for running out of fuel in a fixed lap race, is there? Especially from someone of Botsy's experience.
Yeah, usually not. You sometimes end up in a peculiar situation when you did not prepare for the race enough. Because the calculations Live for Speed sometimes offers are quite off your personal fuel consumption.
Yeah, but I always find that they tend to be the other way. They tend to be telling you to use too much fuel, but in this instance, obviously not. Not enough laps in practice for Botsy, and he's going to come unstuck, and that's going to gift Rick, his teammate, valuable points in the series over Botsy, but also Mandula, who, if that is true, and Mandula can keep it on the road, will pick up his first podium of the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Botsy would, do a Lewis Hamilton and say something was wrong when he, next lap.
There's no real
does
motivation
the fastest
to, is
lap
there?
of the race.
Yeah, but it's a bit different with tyres and fuel. You can set fast laps with bad tyres. You can't if you haven't got any fuel left. So I wonder if Botsy will come down the pit lane and basically make this a race where he just picks up as many points as he can with damage limitation.
Fastest lap by Ricciardo, 2:12.18. So, after the first couple of laps where Unite was clearly the fastest car on track, now it's Ricciardo's time to shine.
Yeah, but it might be a little bit too little too late, because Rick might do the fastest lap, but Unite has certainly been doing the most consistent laps of the race. Yes, but we do have 4 laps to go, in which Rick can close that 3-second gap that he's got to Nico. Look at the gap between Nico, Rick and Botsy now. It's almost, it's nearly 10 seconds between second and third. And yeah, we just got to wait to see what Botsy decides to do now. Will he decide to pit and splash and dash, or will he try and fuel save? I wonder if he's got enough to try and fuel save. If he's chatting about it, then it's probably a little bit worse than fuel saving.
But looking at the track, we also have much smaller gaps. P16, Elmo is fighting Kick.
Yeah, very hard.
Side by side.
Side by side through turn 4. Elmo manages to keep a nose ahead, but it's forced wide. He's given the space up to Kig, and Kig will be through before they break for the chicane.
Yeah, Kig's rear lights are actually a donut for Homer Simpson, which is quite interesting. Elmo now lost a little bit of pace due to the overtake, but Redbot does not seem to be in a position to attack him. But Yarikatia runs a little bit diagonal through the hairpin.
Oh, and he's Kig off into the gravel. Kig will lose a few places because of that. He's just too close on the into the braking zone and misjudged where Yari was going to brake, and that's cost him 4 places.
And Elmo got around Yari now into 15th position. Yari also losing due to the whole schlamassel.
Yari
although he was not the one leaving the track, he lost 2 positions from it.
Someone we haven't talked about the whole race is FFM Number. He started right at the back, and he's only made it up to P18. The driver who we saw almost win the last round of the BF1 League in that thrilling final lap showdown between him and Outsu. The FZ5 clearly not his favourite car, but he's probably not that used to it, and with all the Formula driving he does, so fair play for having a go. I'm sure if he keeps entering Rony's races throughout this year, he'll certainly get better at some of the cars he's not used to. But he's certainly having a good fight, isn't he? He's up alongside Yari already.
Yeah, to the inside in turn 3. Oh,
slight contact. Forces Yari wide, and there goes Kig. Kig back through on Yari. Yari's dropped like a stone in this race, down to P19 now.
Yes. He was up in P8, I think. P7, P8.
Around there, yeah. I mean, he qualified very high.
Oh, but he also has quite a bit of trouble with tire heat, so his rears are really hot.
lot of drivers will be complaining about that, but luckily they only have 3.5 laps to go as we are on the back straight looking back from Number's car onto Kig there. It's really fun racing side by side through this section, but yeah, we don't see it that often in the FZ5 because it's such a big car, yeah, it takes up a lot of road, not just in its size, but the amount of space it needs when it wobbles around through these corners.
Also, the FZ5 is not the most most popular car in lift speed, so it's not that often taken to the racetrack.
No, Rick Cardle has lost the fastest lap honours as late in the day Unite steals it back and has opened the gap at the front to 4 seconds now. So we thought that Unite might be being caught by Rick at the late stages because of his tyres, but nope. It seems as though Unite is able to manage this race absolutely perfectly, and so far so good for the Finnish driver, as we see Kig having to go defensive on Number again, and Kig runs onto the AstroTurf but manages to keep it on the road. Number then up to P17 with that move. And Redbot and Elmo still going hammer and tong. They've been fighting the whole race pretty much, I think. Yeah, this battle rages on. But yeah, Unite out front with a comfortable lead over Silas's Rick Cardle. Botsy some 12 seconds behind, and the gap to Mandula, well, that gap has been like that since basically the first lap. And yeah, Mandula just not able to close that gap anymore. It must be really frustrating following Botsy so closely and not being able to get near him. We do think that Botsy has to come into the pits or forfeit the race because he hasn't got enough fuel in his car. Yoni would be promoted to P4 if that happened, but he's currently in P5 chasing down Mandula, and in 2.5 laps, Thilo, it's a 3-second gap. What are his lap times looking like? Can he make that work?
Difficult to say. I think at least the front pack is pretty much set in stone. Unite is...
Oh, you're saying that? Ayub's just taken a chunk of time out of Falcon. Carry on.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, Unite is on his way to get his 6th win in RTFR. One of 2 Jenna drivers who scored a victory. The other one was Jona.
Jona Rantala. It's a name I've not heard in a while. But yeah, Ayub is really taking time out of Falcon now. You can see that Ayub's able to take much tighter lines through some of these corners. Falcon's car looking a little bit uncomfortable. And with 1 lap to go after this one, can Ayub make up any more places in this race? That big green machine ahead of him must be looking rather inviting, because it's not... The lines that Falcon is taking at the moment aren't as tight, and you can see Falcon runs wide again, and that lets Ayub close up. So Ayub needs to pick his moment and try and find a way through on Falcon's green FZ5. Falcon goes defensive into the chicane. He felt as though he had to. You could see Ayub was trying to eye it up, and he's gone round the outside into the chicane. What a move.
Brilliant move by Ayub. Falcon with glowing red-hot rear tires, so he doesn't have the traction out of the corners to really put something against it, and this is what Ayub could use to his advantage.
Yeah, Falcon's gone back on him very late. It's not going to work. That was far too late. Good effort, but far too late, and just as well Ayub spotted it, because that could have been an accident. That was Falcon's last bite of the apple, and he's gone wide, so fair play.
Oh, Michael side by side with Twin Cam. They just switched positions in the braking zone. Michael now with a better cornering.
Still side by side.
Ooh. I was not sure if Michael really wanted to force it through the chicane.
Well, he's forced Twin Cam onto the grass a little bit, and they'll be side by side again as the leaders are onto the final lap. 3.6 seconds, the gap between Nico and Rick. Nico just managing the car on this last lap, as Twin Cam is passed by Michael finally. But there's a long straight coming up. Will it change again?
First, I wanted to say yes, it will, because Michael had a poor exit, but Twin Cam's line was so tight that he lost momentum through the corner.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that Botsy has entered the final lap without pitting. So he's either going to try and... He's either trolled the whole field and actually had enough fuel, or he's managed to save enough to finish. Unless he was just panicking and didn't think it through. But anyway, Mandula potentially denied a podium there by Botsy. But anyway, side by side they still go. Michael on this last lap defending hard from the Born to Race car, and he's trying to hang it around the outside. Slight contact, but wow, I'm amazed that Twin Cam's managed to hold it around the outside there. He's going to have the inside for turn 4, and that's a far easier place to get past, and he has done it. Great.
It was
defensive.
interesting to listen to Michael's throttle pedal there through the corner, as he was rather careful to not get an oversteer.
Yeah, but let's turn our attention to the front of the field, which is, well, quite a long way away from the battle we were just watching, because Nico Pintola for Genuine Racing is just entering the final corner of the race, some 3.5 seconds ahead of his nearest rival Rick Cardle, and he's doing a bit of showboating now, leaving lots of rubber on the road out of the final corner. Here comes Nico Pintola for his, did you say 6th win in RTFR, Thilo?
Yes, 6th win.
Congrats to him. Rick Cardle closely follows him, and then it's going to be quite a wait for the rest of the field, isn't it? Because Botsy, it looks like he will make it just about. Let's see how this finish goes. Yeah, flat out to the line. He had enough fuel in the end. Never in doubt, really, was it? Mandula crosses the line in P4. That'll be followed closely by Rony Cotilla. Rony wasn't able to close the gap as much as he wanted. In fact, the gap went up at the end of the race, so maybe he was struggling with tyres in the end, Thilo. Ayub finishes P6 ahead of Falcon. There must have been contact with Michael, because Michael's dropped off the road. Where's he gone? Where has Michael gone?
Oh, Michael is behind Twin Cam in 10th.
Okay, so yes, he was battling with the other Born to Race car, my mistake. Falcon.
Elmo side by side with Tasca. Onto the start-finish straight with a better position for Elmo. Elmo
just
in
about
13th position. 14th, sorry.
14th, yes. So, continuing the rundown, Kidd and Yada finished 8th and 9th, close again, but Kidd takes the Czech honours in this race, finishing ahead. Then it's Twin Cam who denied Michael Malek top 10, Rony P12, Donny P13, Elmo in P14, Tasca P15, Redbot P16. Then it's Number, Kig, Yari, and Magic rounding out the top 20.
And we've got another battle to the line.
Yeah, side by side. Oh, that was close.
Wow.
Troll just getting ahead of Talha on the last lap. And across the line then comes the world-class Lions car of Team Soini and climbs in P24. And I think that's it. That rounds out our 24 drivers. That was an intense race.
It was, and it's amazing that out of the 26 qualifiers, 24 finished this race with, as we've said, such a difficult car to drive. The only sad thing is, before the race started, I was telling you that I expect the top 4 to be really an intense race, and it turned out to be an intense turn 1, and then it was it.
Yeah, that was it. From there, Nico Pintola will have to drive around to start-finish to find the little podium area that we have here in Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. Beautiful drift out of the last corner.
You see that he has some experience with drifting, competing in the Slardy Masters.
Yeah, he's burst his rear tyres though. I think the podium is just between the pit garages here. Yes, it is. So he will drive up onto that pedestal. And
he's changing the rear right tyre first.
Getting some new tyres on before he does it.
Just one, just the rear right.
and he's crashed into a bin. Nico Pantola. You can't write this stuff, Thilo. You can't write this stuff. Completes the entire race and crashes into a bin as he makes his way to the podium.
I want to have the reaction of Chris Ford for this.
Nico chooses the other side of the podium to drive up. And there we go. He goes on top of there. So that brings to a conclusion the Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Round 3 in 2021. Nico Pantola winning ahead of Rick Cardle and Botzi having to settle for third. Mandula just missed the podium after a race-long fight with the Sidus cars. Good stuff. Good stuff. So,
really good stuff. Really great racing with the FZ5. And maybe some final words for Unite's win. It is his first win since RTFR 219. So it was over a year-long drought to see him back on the podium.
In 2 weeks' time, Rony's Tuesday Fun Race travels to Rockingham for the 248th Rony's Tuesday Fun Race. The FXR at Rockingham 10. That's Rockingham International without the chicane. That'll be here on Sim Broadcast on Tuesday, the 16th of January from 6 o'clock UTC. Please join us for that. We can't wait for it. It will be a fun one, that, in the FXR, Thilo.
Yes, I mean, the Kyoto tracks with the downforce cars are something really special. We've seen it in GT2 Challenge just a couple of days ago, how intense the racing gets, and having that in such a race format as we see here in RTFR will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, the same combination as used during last weekend's GT2 Challenge. Speaking of the GT2 Challenge, you can join us on this Sunday from 6 o'clock UTC for round 3 of that championship from South City Long. The tight and unforgiving walls of South City will be meeting the drivers there on Sunday. So we hope you can join us for that. What we have left to say here is... well, not a lot really, do we? Other than just to congratulate again Nico Pantola for winning round 3 of the championship. We hope you can join us in 2 weeks' time for RTFR round 4 of 2021 with the FXR at Rockingham International. I've been Peter Butcher. I've been joined tonight by Thilo Falkenberg. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you in a few days' time.
Bye.